Hello everybody, I want to share my lesson plan video with you. My grade level is transitional kindergarten, mainly 4 years old and some 5 years old. And background of my class is I have 20 students and I have 18 Hispanic and 2 mixed races. I have 11 girls and 9 boys and 3 5-year-old students and 17 4-year-old students. The 3 5 years old student just turned 5 on month of September. I have 3 students have previous school experiences. I have 7 students have no previous school experiences. I have 1 student with spectrum disorder and he's waiting for his IEP meeting. And I have 2 speech students. I have 13 English learners, 3 Spanish only speakers, 5 Spanish English speakers, 5 English only speakers whose home language is Spanish. 3 Spanish only speakers. I have 2 students who started school from the beginning of the actually middle of the August, the first day of the school, August 14th. So now they are able to understand English, the simple English, and they understand when I speak English in my instruction. And 1 student just started school last week, so I still need to help him to give some instruction in Spanish. And based upon my pre-assessment test, 30% of students can count up to 10, 20% of students can count up to 5, and 30% of students can count up to 3. 20% of students have no number recognition at all. And 20% of students have one-to-one correspondence skill counting up to 5, which means they know how many apples they have and they can count and they know how many apples they have. For the lesson, I really want to have 3 learning objectives. The first one is 70% of accuracy. The student will be able to count number up to 10, and 50% of accuracy. The student will be able to recognize number up to 10, which means when I show the number, they will recognize which is number 3, which is number 5, which is number 6, which is number 7. And third, accuracy rate of 80%. I want student will be able to count one-to-one correspondence up to 5. I divide 2 lessons. Number 1 is both of them counting principles based upon California Department of Education preschool and transitional kindergarten learning foundation mathematics. I really want to focus on foundation 1.1 and 1.2. 1.1 is reciting numbers and 1.2 is one-to-one correspondence. There are 2 development level. One is early, the other one is later. For this lesson, I really want to focus on early development because as I mentioned earlier, not many students can be able to do later development. So first, I want to have a whole group activity reciting numbers. I'm going to show student the number from 0 to 10. The reason I included 0 because if I don't teach 0 and they don't know the 0, when they go to first or second grade, if they don't have any concept about 0, they may have a hard time to addition, subtraction, and multiplication and division. The reason I include 0. And when I counting object, I will let them count the apples up to 10 without missing the numbers. I don't know why, but based upon my assessment, my student frequently miss number 6 and 8. I don't know exact reason why they miss the number 6, 8. So I really want encourage my student to count apples from 1 to 10 without missing any numbers and without any repetition. For example, some of my students count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or some of my students 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 9, 10. So instead of repeat certain number and missing certain number, I want everybody count from 1 to 10 without missing or without repetition of any number. Then I want them to count one-to-one correspondence, which is when they see the one apple, they can count one, and then they know the total number is one. When they see the two apples, they know how to count number two, and they know the total number is two. And when they count number three, they know the total number is three. And when they count number four, they know the total number is four. And when they count number five, they know the total number is five. For example, some of my students, they can count to 1, 2, 3. But when I ask them, how many apples do you have? They keep answering me, 1, 2, 3. So when I keep asking them how many apples together, they do not understand the concept of the last number they count is the total number. So I have to reinforce them. After they count correctly, they need to understand the last number they count is the total number of this object. After I finish the larger group, whole group, I'm going to go to small group and I want to use the Jamboard and I'm going to work with the 5 students at the same time, so they will work with me. So just before I start the school, the lesson, I will print out this number talk chart and I will post on the wall so they will be able to what kind of a lesson they will learn today. So, and first of all, I will let them recite the number from 0 to 10. Then I will show the number, so I will help them to recognize number, how number 1 looks like, number 2 looks like, number 3 looks like. Some of them can count number 1 to 10, but it is kind of just recited, but they do not have any recognition. So even though my main point is reciting the number from 0 to 10, if they are able to recite number well, I want to focus on to recognize number as a secondary plan. Then I will let them help to count the apples without missing or without repetition. As I mentioned earlier, some of my students, they miss the number. Instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I will let them count. Some of them count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 9, 10. So instead of missing or repeating any certain number, I want to help my student to count number from 1 to 10 without missing or without repetition of any number. After they finish, they will give the exit ticket. One is happy face, the other one is sad face. If they have a happy face sticker, they will go to the next step to count more than 10 or recognize the number if they are not able to recognize the number even though they recite all the numbers. And if they have a sad face with the music, I will count number with them again. After they finish, I will let them do counting object with a one-to-one correspondence. So at this time, I really mainly focus on they will match the number and counting object. So when they count 2 apples, I will help them to how many apples they have, so they will answer 2 instead of saying 1, 2. When I ask them how many apples do you have, they are able to count correctly up to 5, but sometimes some students they don't know the last number they counted is the total number of these objects. So I will mainly focus on to teach them. So if they count up to five, I will let them do the next activity. And then if they have a sad face, I will assess their ability, whether they can count, whether they can count, what they can count, and if they count, if they don't know the last number they counted is the total number, I will mainly focus on those things. After they finish this one, they will go and then they will go their Google uh, Google slide, because this one is a Google slide up to 10. So they will practice how many. So with their Chromebook, they will count how many numbers they can do. But this one is the extra activity. So student who has two happy face or either one or two happy faces can do this one. If they do not have any happy face, I will make another group with the sad faces. I will and focus on to recite and to count and to recognize numbers instead of doing this kind of activity. And after I finish, I will do a little formal assessment. So, excuse me, counting numbers and recognize. So from num to 20, my kids have 20 numbers. So every each student have their own number, and then I will do how many they can count. So I'll count up to 10 without missing numbers and record numbers 1 to 10, and counting 1 to 1 correspondence 1 to 5, and counting numbers up to 3, recognize number only number 1 and 2, and counting 1 to 1 no, or 0, or no, 0, or like counting numbers 5, one records number 5, and counting number 1 to 1, 1 to 3. So I will make everybody from number 1 to 20, and then this one will be used for the next lesson, how I can do for them to make a lesson, whether I can go further or I can review their lesson. So this is my math lesson plan for my TK student. Thank you.